Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti, and I want you to understand something. I am a computer god. There is no one that can do the computer things that I can do. I restarted the computer because it wasn't working right, and when it came back on, I clicked Chrome. I put a little video on Discord. I was so upset. I clicked Chrome and it would like start to open and then just disappear. So being a computer god, step one is to do the same thing over and over and over again. Just over and over and over again. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. So just keep clicking. So I just kept going. Maybe the 40th time that I click Chrome, it'll open all the way up. But eventually you're like, well, as a computer god, I'll just try something else. So I opened Safari and I typed into Google. Mac, Chrome starts to open but then disappears. And of course they're like, reinstall Chrome. I was like, oh, right. I knew that because I'm a computer god. So I reinstalled Chrome and didn't change shit. And then it was like, step 2, delete everything on your hard drive and smash just the whole fucking world. Just smash the whole world! So I did that. Oh! And then it was like step 3, feel good about yourself. Because the older you get and the more millions of hours that we as a human race put into products and software and just things in general, right? Things in general. The more time, the more effort we put into things, the worse they get. This computer worked fine for like a year and a half, and then about a month ago, I got so tired of like everything telling me that I needed to update. The system software, EOS webcam utility, OBS, Stream Deck, I'm sure I'm missing a half a dozen. And I said, okay, I'm sure it's fine. And every single day has been a living nightmare since. Oh. So, as a computer god, I'm here to tell you, more important than any FPV stuff, anything, never update anything ever. If your computer or anything that you're using in your entire life, because apparently now in 2024, every single thing on Earth needs to update every 15 minutes. If you have anything earthly, any earthly belonging that works, for the love of God, don't update it ever. You're gonna think, oh, it's been like 16 years. It's been yelling at me to update for 16 years. Surely it'll be fine. It won't be fine. Nothing will be fine. Every update will break everything, always, forever. Never update anything. If you manage to get something in your possession in 2024 that functions, for Christ's sakes, disconnect it from the internet, build a shrine in the front of your house for that thing and put it in there, because that is the last thing that you will ever own, ever, that works. Welcome to Monday Night Q&A. My God. Oh my God, I can't live like this. I can't live like this. I have to move to... Oh! Oh! Oh boy! I almost spit this fucking water out. Gangzilla the Terribles has moved to Wales. It's a joke from Bardwell's stream for a minute ago. I'm. It's gonna be great. It's all gonna be okay. I did manage to get in and find the sessions folder, which has all the tabs that I had opened. You should have seen me when I wasn't streaming a minute ago. I was freaking out because I have all these tabs opened, and this would be like the third time this month that I lost all those tabs. And if I lose all my tabs one more time, I'm getting a job as a something that doesn't involve technology in any way, shape, or form. And I'm just going to do that until I die. In the chat, God only knows who was first, but Scotty Scott's here. Guillermo's here. What's up, dude? Rye Bread, Notice, FP Avery, Can I Get a Channel? Every Day with Bruno, Curtis Hayes, Rye Bread, Scotty Scott. Don't expect a remotely decent stream tonight, because this anger will be a blanket over the next hour and a half. And so, if you like anger, ooh, it is going to be a good one. I'm going to try my best to calm down, I swear. But it's I mean, you're all men, you know. Spoken Dog Cujo, Notice, Metal Dirtskin, Teleport FPV. There's other people, but I don't have time. I'd love to give you all shout-outs, but I don't have time, because computers are the work of awful people that destroy our lives. And now it's frozen. Really? Oh, OBS, you do not want to do this tonight. You do not want to do this tonight to me. This is not the night, OBS. This is not the night. Oh, it's not OBS. Of course it's not OBS. It's EOS webcam utility. Awesome. Canon has managed to... Canon forces you to use this horrible software called EOS webcam utility. And it was always really bad. But, oh my god. This newer version of it is so much worse. So much worse. Man. Can I find older versions of... Okay. Okay. I just need to do that for later. It's going to be how I spend my night after this live stream. No, it doesn't, Danzilla! I wish it did! If you want to talk to me in the chat, type CiottiFPV into your comment. It'll light up an orange for me. Scotty Scott did that, and he said, I hope everything is well. It's not. It couldn't be less well. You tested positive for COVID? That blows. I've had it 3, maybe 4 times now. What a total pain in the ass. Every Day with Bruno says, been using LimeWire. Now his computer has COVID. I shouldn't have said the C word twice. Curtis Hayes says, hi. Hide the gasoline and matches from CiottiFPV, yeah. Every Day with Bruno, thank you for the super chat. I'm getting to it. Let me get caught up a little bit here. Curtis Hayes says CiottiFPV is currently swatting himself. Neighbors have called 911 after hearing multiple terroristic threats streaming from his basement. Now I can't being in it all gets bottled up now. I can't when you live alone you can let it all out. But if you live with other people and you respect those other people and you don't want those other people to be scared by you, you just can't. You can't just freak out and scream at the top of your lungs. Even though you want to, you just can't anymore. Cloudhopper, the $10 super chat, he says, just to help with the frustration. Dude, thank you. Flew your rig a bunch today. We're gonna be talking about it if I can manage to calm the fuck down. Thank you, dude. Kevin J, just another Kevin FPV with a $10 super chat. He says, tithes. What are tithes? Tithes? Tithes. Tithes? Tithes. Tithe. 1/10 of annual produce or earnings. Tith. T-I-T-H. Tith. Tith. I don't know, man. I don't know. Thank you, Kevin. What I know is thank you. Perfect example, YouTube. YouTube crashes at least once a day for me. And, like, apparently everybody. Thanks for making your service worse. Thanks for making me watch, like, full minutes of commercials every, like, 5 minutes. And then making it worse. So it just crashes all the time. Great job. Great job. Matter Dirtzigan with a $5 super chat says, your days as well... Yeah, I didn't change my shirt. I'm wearing the same shirt as yesterday. Your day's going as well as mine. I was trying to get prescriptions filled today. Oh, God. That's... Kevin the Alien says, Goose Fraba. What's that from? Oh, my God. That is from... Is that from Nutty Professor? Goose blah blah. No. It's goose fraba. Ah, okay. Goose blah blah. Notice says, stream's looking good though. Thank you, dude. I guess. I don't know. Denzel the Table says, I don't think you need to use that. Oh, no, we got that. Every Day with Bruno with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, brother, for some smoke, drink, whatever helps. Deal, my friend. As soon as I finish up here tonight. Danzel the Turtle says, get a snuggle from Teddy. That'll fix all your troubles. That dog fixes nothing. That dog, he just, I mean, he's funny and all. But, boy, oh boy, is he a pain in the ass more often than not. Guillermo says, I want CiottiFPV to start a... you don't want that. Oh, God, okay. Oh, you goddamn son of a bitch, you! Oh, Guillermo, don't do that. Don't. Okay, look. When people want advice, they will ask for it. Don't. You must resist unsolicited advice. More often than not, unsolicited advice will piss the person off more, especially when they're doing a thing that they do. All right? I've been streaming for over 3 years. I have a little bit of an idea of what to do. If you've been streaming for 4 years, by all means, give me all the advice that you want. But unsolicited advice is bad. Don't do it. All right. God damn it. It's okay. I get it. I get it. I get that you want to give advice. We all look. We all want to help. I get it. It's a good character trait to want to help. But there's a time and a place, and this ain't the time or the place. Careful. Seriously, careful with unsolicited advice. It's You've all had it done to you. You've all had the new guy show up at work and tell you how to do your job better. So. Okay. Hold on. Thanks to all that have super chatted. Unbelievably, this is my full-time job. I don't recommend it. Do anything other than live streaming. Unless you're a legitimate computer genius. CiottiFPV.com has a million ways that you can support me. Just go there and start clicking all the buttons. It'll be great. We're going to take a look at a bunch of different, a bunch of flight footage from a bunch of different 75mm rigs. Hey, by the way, the super handy little, if your duct breaks, you put a little bit of shrink wrap over the brake and shrink it up. It works brilliant. I've been meaning to do it, but I have not had a frame break in a while. I have not had the ducts on a frame break in a while. I did this today, and it's holding up just fine. I'm really impressed. Whoever figured this out. I saw CMYK talking about this a while ago. I don't know if he came up with it or whatever, but yeah, it works really, really good. I'm not going to replace this. I was going to replace this frame, but now I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it like this. Oh, also, on the two, if you were watching the 2S Toothpick build the other night, my little setup of using the little 2mm basically spacer thing with the little rubber bastard on top to keep it from backing off, it kind of worked. It worked on 3 out of 4, but one of them did back off. So I need to figure out a better way to hold this down. The flight footage that you were watching in the intro of the live stream was actually this little guy. that we finished up yesterday during the day. I'm pretty unimpressed. You know what's funny is it reminds me. All of you that love toothpicks are gonna put your fingers in your ears. It reminds me of why I don't like toothpicks. But I think more powerful motors are the solution. These are 1102. 1102 19,000 kV. 19,000 kV. I have a motor limited down to like 80%, I want to say. And yeah, man, like toothpicks, they're cool because they're super quiet and they're super lightweight and they can get crazy runtime, but they just don't have enough like authority in the air. They're so floaty and they don't really corner well. I'll be super honest, man. I like the way that a 70, somebody's going to lose their mind at me saying this, but I like the way that 75 millimeter tiny whoops fly better than toothpicks. FPV unknown, that would totally work. That would absolutely work. That's the easiest, most, like, yeah, that's a perfect solution. Good call. Yeah, it's, yeah. I'm not impressed. That I was flying pretty late in the day. That's why it was so dark. But yeah, man, it's just, they're just kind of like lazy in the air. They take so long when you're off the throttle for them to come down because they're so light and they've got such a big area of propeller spinning. Yeah, I don't know. That was only one. I mean, it was technically 2 batteries, but it was only one session of flying with it. I am going to fly it a little bit more. I'm going to try some different props, try some different things, but yeah. And then at some point I crashed it into the grass and it couldn't, even though it's 2S, it couldn't push one blade of grass out of the way and I had to put shoes on and run outside and go get it. So yeah. I don't know, man. I'm going to try to fall back in love with toothpicks, but fair warning, no promises. We're not off to a great start. But I shall fly it more. The Donnie Lama says, how do you feel about 3S toothpicks? More on the heavy side, like 70 to 75 grams. Well, see, here's the thing, right? When you start to make a toothpick heavier and heavier and heavier to get better flight characteristics, now you start destroying more motors. And so it's like they have to be really light or else you're going to destroy the motors because not many of them have decent motor protection. But just like in general, you know, they don't crash well. Toothpicks don't crash well, period. You crash them in the grass, you can't take them back off. You crash them in the street, they potentially bang up a motor. Toothpicks are not rigs that crash well, right? Like, has anybody had a toothpick that crashes well? It's just that's not it. Like, if you want the rig to crash well, it's going to be a school bus style rig so that your camera is enclosed in carbon fiber, right? And then the weight goes up a little bit. Yeah, there's some lighter weight versions of those, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give it more time though, for sure. This could very well be like an initial knee jerk. Like, I knew I was right. I knew there's a reason that I stopped flying them way back when. But that's just totally unfair. And so yeah, I'm gonna spend more time with them. But that battery that you were watching the intro of the live stream, I don't know. It just didn't. I expected way. I think I expected way too much from it. If I'm completely honest. So yeah, I'll dial it in more. I had a 3-inch toothpick with a naked Vista in it on RC and Power 1204s, and it railed from what I remember. The AIO had a lot of electrical noise, and I couldn't get the tune decent, and I just stopped flying it. But yeah. I don't know. My hunch is that these 1102s are too small. I mean, that kind of has to be what it is. I don't think they're too small for the weight of these propellers. I think they're too small for the amount of drag that these propellers have when they're scything through the air. One of the ways that I can test that is I'm going to move this to a 2-inch propeller. The only thing I'm worried about is I don't know if there are any 2-inch propellers that are really thin and like wispy like this. I think the only 2-inch biblade is like a big, fat, heavy, chonky ass gem fan. But I'm gonna dig through my bag of one of every propeller. But yeah, initial expectations are that moving this from 1S to 2S, I think it made it fly a little bit better, but I was expecting it to fly a lot better. And it did not do that. So yeah, more voltage is not always the answer. That's the there it is. That's the good piece of advice that I can give. Sometimes it's the answer, but not always. Enough talking about toothpicks. Let's dive into 75mm rigs. I flew these 4 guys today. Massive shout out to Cloudhopper for sending this one over, which kind of inspired me to get these 3 back together. I was down to 1 75mm 1S rig, and now I'm back up to 3. I mean, it's kind of easy because I have a bunch of these 2G4. Well, I guess these are not. None of these are 2G4s now. I had ordered the X12. One of these has to be an X12. How do I have a third? Okay, this is a 2G4. Yeah, right. Yeah, I've got 2 X12s. I bought the one X12, and I traded somebody for the other X12, and then this is a 2G4. And so this 2G4 with camera and canopy and antenna, this was in a 65mm frame. So I pulled it out of that and I just dropped it into this frame, so that I would have more stuff to kind of compare here. So Cloudhopper sent me this very clean Mobula 7 ELRS build with hand-wound 0802 36,000 kV motors. And so I built these, I got these 3 rigs together. This guy is on 30,000 kV 802s. This guy is on 33,000 kV 802s. And then this guy is on 0802.8 VCI. Let's call them 0803s. 27,000 kV motors. And I was super excited about this because I knew exactly what was going to happen. But this was just such an awesome opportunity to show you guys that KV can help, but it's not the answer. What I was pretty sure was going to happen is that the 0803 27,000 kV motors, since it's a bigger stator, would turn a higher RPM in the air. Then, even though it's only 27,000 kV, then 33,000, then 30,000, then even 36,000. Because the stator volume is what pushes the propeller through the air. And if you don't want if you don't want your build to gain weight, one of the ways that you can make more power is just to crank the KV up. And it absolutely works, as I'm going to show you guys. Actually, I'm just going to start playing the flight footage now, and I'll just kind of talk over it. One of the concerns about doing that, though, is that there is a point where you can make the KV go so high that it's no longer pushing the prop any faster, but it's just dumping more electricity into the motor, and that creates additional heat. So this is why we just, like, all motors aren't 100,000 kV. there is a point of I mean, there's a point of diminishing returns, and then there's a point of like no returns. There's a point of no return, and I've achieved it with Canon EOS webcam utility tonight. This is weird. The other night it did the same thing. It bombed on me twice in a row, and then it was totally fine after that. It did that exact same thing tonight. That's super maddening. All right, so let me just dive into some of this flight footage. I believe I just ramped it up KV wise. I'm gonna check the audio here real quick though. No, I didn't. I flew Cloudhopper's rig first. That's right, because I was just dying to fly it. Yeah. Okay, so this is Cloudhopper's rig. This is a 36,000 kV 802 on a what amounts to a Mobula 7 1S ELRS. So there was a low battery warning 42 seconds into the battery. That's the problem with going ape shit on the KV, is that it hammers the living hell out of the battery at full throttle. Part throttle, it's kind of okay. But at full throttle, when you go bananas with the KV, you cannot hang on full throttle. You have to do full throttle blips. And that's pretty much how we fly with freestyle, so that's kind of okay. But you really have to understand that. If you decide to go ham on the KV, for the record, that's what a trippy spin should be. Don't keep spinning around the tree. It's vomit-inducing. Use it to do a U-turn. It's a cool-looking U-turn. And stop. Don't just keep spinning. It's awful. It's not even, what I did there is not even a trippy spin. It's just flying backwards, and I've been doing that to go around corners for literally years. It's one of my favorite moments from a downtown Atlanta edit that I did when I first moved here. So we're going like 3+ years back. All right, so the rig that we're let's talk about dry weight / all up weight, whatever. I'm running the same batteries on all these. These are all run on Betaflight, the blue and white 1S 450 mAh folded cell batteries. Even the 75mm rigs every once in a while will get hung up and you have to take the walk. But boy, does it happen less with ducted rigs than with toothpicks. All right, so the rig that I'm flying right now is 24.5 grams. The next rig I'm going to fly, which is on, so this is 0802 36,000 kV. This is also a Caddx Ant camera, by the way. This is a Caddx Ant. The next rig that I'm going to be flying is 0802 30,000 kV. And it's 23.15 grams. The weight difference is because the next rig is on an old school Mobula 6 canopy with a Runcam Nano 3, which is super, super, super lightweight. Cloudhopper's rig is on, I think this is a Mobula 8 canopy with a Caddx Ant, which is a significantly heavier camera. All right, so there you go. 2.5 minute runtime. It says 41,000 kV maximum ESC RPM, but these motors will actually hit 43,000. Remember that. 43,000 kV, RPM is the max that I saw with Cloudhopper's setup. The rewound 802 36,000 kV motors. All right, 2 minutes and 40-second runtime. That's about what it did with sort of mixed flying. All right. Now we're going to a 30,000 kV rig. 802, 30,000 kV, very similar, still a happy model motor, not hand wound. It's actually, it's I've taken iGal bells and moved them around so that these are 1.5mm motor shaft. Hey, also, all three of these rigs on 802s are with 1.5mm motor shafts. This one that you're watching right now has been beaten to death. And then the next one that you're going to watch has been beaten to death as well. Notice there's no jello, there's no nonsense. The footage looks really decent. Now you're looking at a Runcam Nano 3, again, by the way. Anybody that says that the Runcam Nano 3 sucks outside and the Caddx Ant is great outside, I don't see it, man. I kind of think this looks better, but I don't know. That's just me. You can't buy the Runcam Nano 3 anymore anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. So yeah, this is the 802 30,000 kV motors. Very, very similar rig. Little tiny bit lighter. And what you're going to see is... Hold on. I already missed the... Here it is. Ready? So this is me checking the RPM. So now we're down to 39,500 RPM. The battery sagged down to 3.44. And so, yeah, the 36,000 kV motors absolutely gave a little bit more RPM. Not a lot more, but I could absolutely feel it. This 30,000 kV rig absolutely felt like it had less jam, for sure. Still very fun to fly, and still like one of the better Mobula 7 1S setups. I think 30 to kind of spoil it for you guys. I think 36,000 is maybe a little bit too high. I think the maximum that we want to go is 33,000, which is the next battery that you guys are going to see. But yeah, again, this is significantly lower kV, right? 6,000 less kV. But it's a little bit lighter, which kind of helps. But I could still absolutely feel the difference, and the higher kV motors did feel better. The next battery you're going to see is 33,000 kV, and that felt just like the 36,000s. Let me weigh that. So Cloudhopper's rig, again, is 24.5 grams. The 33,000 kV rig is 24.4 grams. 24.4. So it's the same. Why is this one so much heavier than... Oh, okay. So that is because the rig that you're watching right now is on a 2G4 AIO, which is a little bit lighter than the X12. Wow, this is actually flying really good on the 2G4. You can still buy 2G4s. Weebleed has a ton of them. I still think that they're the best Tiny Whoop AIO ever. Maybe the best that we ever get. See, stuff like that. That right there, like, that is how, in my opinion, a trippy spin should be used. Don't keep going. Use it as, like, a thing. It's not a trippy spin, but it's yeah, that's way cooler than just making everybody watching your video nauseous. Looking up at the sky and putting the subject weirdly, awkwardly on the top, and then just blopping around like you're drunk on bath salts. All right, so the next rig you're going to see weighs the same as the 36,000 kV rig, but it's 3,000 less kV. I'm just basically getting the battery down to 3.4 volts when I'm hovering, so that I have an accurate comparison of runtime. Unfortunately, I just noticed that when I'm in turtle mode, apparently the timer runs, so that's super annoying. So this is going to be an artificially long runtime here, but lower kV motors are going to run longer. If you do get to the point where you've pushed the kV up way, 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 way beyond where it needs to be, you will see the runtimes drastically reduce. But what was cool about this testing is that, like, the runtimes between these three rigs were like 15 to 10 to 20 seconds off from one another. And that means that we haven't gone completely off the rails. Like 36,000 kV is not completely insane. Like it's not to a point where it's like hurting the rig and you're getting no benefit. You're getting a little bit of a benefit. You're just not getting a massive benefit. That is a good thing because there are no 36,000 kV 802s. And so, like, yeah, I was worried that I was going to absolutely fall in love with Cloudhopper's rig, and then it's like, oh my god, sucks to be all you guys that don't have hand-wound motors. But yeah, this 33,000 kV rig felt pretty damn good. We got to check the RPM though. I always check the RPM at the beginning. Here, there we go. So there's 41,975. So call it 42,000 kV. So you can kind of see, right? 42,000 kV, 43,000 kV between 33 and 36 on the kV. And so like that is not much of a an increase. And so that really kind of shows us that 33,000 kV realistically is sort of the max. I gotta clean the tune up on this thing. It's looking like ass. So yeah, that's a good thing because you can buy motors with, you can buy 0802 motors with 1.5 millimeter motor shafts, and then you can buy 0802 33,000 kV motors and just swap the bells. And you can build yourself a set of 802 33s with 1.5 millimeter motor shafts for sort of like the ultimate analog jungle gym basher. You don't have to hand wind motors, which is awesome. I'm trying to kind of like mimic each flight, like kind of float around a little bit for each battery, push it hard on each battery, fly around back behind the house for each battery, do some like in close flying here in the garden, just so that, yeah, we had a half decent sample of run times here. But yeah, there you go. That's kind of where I'm at. This is a really cool test. I'm massively thankful that even though I told him not to at one point, I was like, nah, I think I'm all right. Like he offered to send it at one point, and I was like, I think I'm all right. I don't, because like he wanted to send me a whole rig, and I'm like, yeah, that's like a lot of money just to send to a stranger on the internet. But he persisted, and I'm very glad that he did. That was very cool of him. Yeah, apparently my goggle module kept beeping. These all have fresh ORT micro V antennas. This rig here that I'm flying, the VTX must be on its way out. That's what I was checking there. It gets significantly worse video quality than the other two. Although this looks really decent. I mean, it's not really breaking up that much. But I mean, I'm right out in front of the house. I am inside though. I am behind a big thick wooden door and shit. That's the other thing. The runtime was very similar between 33 and 36, which is probably more me flying differently on each battery. To really dial in, I would need to fly like 4 or 5 batteries on each one of these rigs. Okay, this is now not... Where's the battery that what? Where's the battery that I flew on the... Here it is. Yeah, okay. All right. Here you go. So... Where did I guess that other file got deleted. Shit sticks. All right. Now we're on an 802.8, call it an 803, 27,000 kV, low kV in comparison. 1 millimeter motor shaft, so they're just demolished after a bunch of batteries. That's where all these vibrations and weird things are going to be coming from here. But get a load of the RPM on this. What was that? No! Oh no, where's the RPM? Shit, hold on. All right, there'll probably be a good RPM measurement here. There we go. Get a load of this. Get a load of this. Ready? 44,621. How the hell did the lowest kV motor out of these 4 produce the highest RPM? It's because the stator is bigger, right? So again, this is an awesome test, and that is yeah, that's an important thing for you guys to understand. I know most of you get that, but someone watching this just now went, what? How's that possible? The propellers are pushing air. So a motor with more grunt, with more raw power, even if sometimes, even if it's a lower kV, it can turn a higher RPM and make more power. This rig has noticeably more power than all three of these, even though it's the lowest kV. If this rig, so this is 27,000 kV versus 30, 33, and 36. If this was like 22,000 kV, it would not have turned a higher RPM. There is a point, basically what's going on here is these three builds on these 802s, the kV is like abnormally high on these three. And the reason that is we're trying to squeak more power out of the lightweight 802. All right? This guy is not like a super cranked up kV. The RPM that this thing turned at 27,000 kV, if these motors were wound to 29,000 kV, it would make more RPM. 32,000 kV, it would make more RPM. As the kV went up on these motors, it would continue to make slightly more RPM each time, just like we saw with these. But this being a significantly larger stator, 802.8 versus 802, it has more grunt to push the propellers harder and spin up to... This is basically spinning up to closer to its... this is getting closer to the RPM that it'll pull with no propeller on it. KV is measured with no propeller on the motor. No load whatsoever on the motor. Once you put a propeller on the motor and you introduce a bunch of load in the form of it pushing static air down, right? Then the KV is not all that matters. The stator, the volume of the stator, and also to some extent, just straight up like the width and the height of the stator, has an awful lot to do with it. And this is the perfect chance to kind of show that. I was really hoping that this was going to happen. I didn't know if 27,000 kV was too low for this thing to be able to turn a higher RPM than these guys. And so, yeah, all of that feeds right into the feeling that I'm getting with these three on 802s, that 33,000 kV is really as high as we want to go. I've also tested these guys on 25,000 kV, 27,000 kV, all at the same time. I did 25, 27, 30, and 33. And when I did that testing, 25 to 27 was a noticeable increase. 27 to 30 was a noticeable increase, but it was a little bit less noticeable. From 30 to 33 was... I'm not going to say barely noticeable. It was noticeable, but like diminishing returns. Each step of the way, it was diminishing returns. But at 30,000 kV, I like the 33s better than the 30s. I'll say that. Going all the way up to 36, I don't know. I am going to fly these two a bunch more. I ended up putting another couple of batteries through this. Let me play that for you. That's not this file. That's going to be, so it's going to be clear ducts. It'll be this next one. Oh, no, apparently not. Apparently it didn't. Here's the 2S toothpick again, just so that in case you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, you can see it. This is the build that we finished up on yesterday's live stream. And I had to dial a couple things in real quick here. But here you go. It was getting a little dark, and this is a newbie drone AIO, so it's got the their specific OSD that's not the best. But yeah, this is the rig that I finished yesterday flying around. I didn't get a chance to get it up in the air at the end of the live stream, but Any questions on 802s, 803s, KV, and how it relates to stator size and runtime and all that stuff? I'm going to get caught up on chat here. Thanks to everybody that did super chats once again. Much appreciated. Morton Upshot says, that's man rule number 1. If not asked, keep it to yourself unless it's a safety issue. Christopher Robin FPV says, any recommendations on an AIO that will fit an 85mm Roop that can run 3S or 4S for 2024? I don't know if such thing exists, brother. The only AIOs I've ever seen that are designed for whoops with the USB facing downwards are... I mean, the majority of them are 1S, but there's a couple that are also 2S, and that's really it. I don't know of any that'll work for that setup. FPV Unknown says, what about... we got that? The Donnie Lama says... No, we got that as well. Metal Dirtskin says, there's a triblade HQ 65mm prop that might go good on those if they are 1.5mm shaft. You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. I just got those propellers. And they're sitting right here. 2009. But they are a 1mm shaft. That's the worst idea ever. Yeah, so that won't work. Jellin says, you said that you had an 80% motor limit on that toothpick. Why not fly it at 100% power? It's too much. It's too much RPM. Just like what we were just talking about, like there's a limit. There's a limit to how high you want to go on the RPM, and the problem with the cranking the RPMs up by artificially cranking the KV up with motor limiting, it's not going to fix the problem that this thing has. If at full throttle, it is just hammering the hell out of the battery, and the amps are going banana pants. You don't just want to keep going up higher and higher and higher on the KV. The problem that this has is that these motors are just not big enough, or powerful enough, I should say. If these are pretty smooth running motors, so maybe these motors have like weak magnets, or maybe they have a giant air gap. It doesn't look like it, but it's hard to tell. But basically, these motors are too weak. The KV is actually okay. I'm totally fine with 19,000 KV with a little bit of a motor limit. But these motors just don't make enough grunt. They don't make enough power. And where that shows up is in the flight performance, in that lazy kind of flight performance where when you move the sticks around, it's not sharp. The 65mm, the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop has a propeller and motor and voltage and all up weight combination that are like dialed. They are such a good match. The response time is awesome because of that, and the flight characteristics are great. It's on the sticks. It's there all the time. It's snappy. It's responsive. It's awesome to fly. When we go up to 75, wow. Really? Come on now. Jesus Christ on a cracker. Oh man, this is getting fucking old, dude. This is getting really old. Oh boy. Wow, this isn't... I was about to say this isn't even an EOS webcam problem, but apparently it is. Yeah, it is. Okay. I guess just every 15-20 minutes I have to quit EOS webcam and relaunch it. Whoo boy. Oh, nice. YouTube just crashed. Amazing. Good job, YouTube. What a shit show, man. What an absolute disaster. Yeah. Also, I've been doing this for long enough, and I've like experimented so much with different motor prop, all up weight combos, voltage combos, that I can tell pretty quickly if the issue is like stator size or too low of a KV, or I try my best to put that into words for you guys, but it's really difficult because it's like super nuanced. Like motors that are too low of a KV, they they still lack response time because they don't have the raw power. But it's just kind of different. It's so hard. It's I can also kind of like just look at a stator size and a KV and a voltage and be like, yeah, that's going to be too high of an RPM, or that's not going to be enough RPM. That just comes from having done this forever. So yeah, I was very optimistic about this, but as soon as I started flying it, I kind of thought like, yeah, all right, 1102s are just, that's not quite a big enough motor. We need like a 1203 or a 12, at least a 1202 or an 1103. I'm actually really excited for one of these other toothpicks that I'm going to do on the RC and Power 1003s. That a 2mm tall stator. That's not a lot of stator height. The stator height, the windings on a stator, right? They go around each stator pole like this. The part of the windings that are going like that, they don't really do much. The part of the winding that's vertical, that does almost all of the work. The magnet is like this, and that vertical part of the stator is what energizes it to pull that magnet over. And so stator height, the height of the stator, is, from a power delivery standpoint, more important than the width. The width of the stator is important to keep the damn thing cool, which is very important. But in terms of making power, the height of the stator does much more than the width. Adding additional height does a lot more than adding additional width. And so a 2mm tall motor, like just 2mm, it's just not quite enough. On these little tiny whoops, it works because they're so light and they're so small, and but like once we get up into the bigger props, a stator that's at least 3mm tall, in my experience, really does perform a lot better. Be that a 1203 or a 1303 or whatever, just having that extra and think about this too. A 2mm tall stator versus a 3mm tall stator, that's 50% more, right? Like when we're comparing like a 2306 to a 2207, from 6 to 7, the percentage change is not as massive as from 2mm tall to 3mm tall, right? So 2 to 3 is a huge percentage change, and we always want to think about percentages, right? So yeah, there's that. That's how. Long answer, I know, but great question. Danzilla, 19,000 kV with a 2.5-inch prop on 2S. That's just too much. That's just way too much RPM. The Donnie Lama says, is there a formula to figure that out? No, man. It's so difficult. Like there are in terms of like sizing motors to propellers to voltage, it's like there's like 4 things going on, maybe even like 5 things going on, maybe even 6. And it like everybody that has ever tried to put it into writing or to make like some kind of a calculator for it, it's never quite right. Sometimes it'll get you like roughly in the ballpark. But like even stuff like a motor coming from RC and Power is going to have, can have like a stronger magnet than a motor coming from some other manufacturer. It throws all that stuff out the window. So it's too difficult. I like to think that that's a lot of the value that I sort of provide, is that I have tested a ton of this stuff and I continue to test as much of this stuff as I can afford. And so, yeah, I think that's one of the things that I do really well is help you guys through that. And I try to talk about it from like, yeah, I try to make you understand how I do the testing and what's going through my mind as much as possible. But like, unfortunately, a lot of it is just based around having done this for 8 years. So yeah, it's really tough. Believe me, I wish that I could make a little calculator on a website and put it in front of all you and say, here you go. Here's how you pick the perfect prop, motor, voltage, whatever KV combo. But it's just, I've never been able to do it. I've never been able to figure that out. And like, even if you were to figure that out right now, today, the motors are going to change, and the motors that we have a year from now are going to make more power, and it's going to throw all that shit off. So it's too much of a moving target. Mudderton says, you saw boot grace in the OSD, so the flight controller rebooted at some point in turtle mode, looks like. Yeah, I've been getting that weird message more and more lately. I assume that it's something new in 4.5 Betaflight. I'm not sure. Malo FPV says, I fly Walksnail Goggle V1 and V2 VTX. I get terrible range with all settings tried out at this point. My second GT VTX also isn't having the best range. What could it be if it's Goggle or VTX? If you've tried 2 different VTXs, then the VTX isn't the problem. So check your antenna. If the antenna is fine, then it's got to be the goggles. Contact Caddx, they do repair stuff. 661 says, such trippy hate. Yeah. Denzel the Terrible says, here's a question for you. I know you hate trippy spins. What is at the opposite end of the spectrum? What trick do you love? What would you do for a grand finale? I actually really like... The reason why I hate trippy spins so much is because it took a camera movement that I always loved and like I would do, and people would be like, holy shit, because I would do it around like the corner of buildings a lot, and people would be like, holy fuck, what is that? And I would just be like, it's just flying backwards, like you're just yawing around to the, like, you know, you're flying nose down like this, you're just yawing around and then pitching back so that you don't stop, right? If you're traveling like this and you yaw around like that, you're going to stop. So in order not to stop, you have to pitch back, and then it's just cross-coordinating the sticks to do a quick little, 90 degree or 180 degree, and then you can do this really cool pitch back, and now you're looking at where you're going again, and then you roll out of it or do something. It took that like really cool camera movement, and it just like bastardized it into just spinning and spinning and spinning in a way that looks terrible. And so that's why that's why I have such hate towards it. Because it took something cool and made it look dumb. And like, sure, it's hard to do, but like, who cares? It looks dumb. There's all kinds of shit that's hard to do, but looks dumb, so we don't do it. And like, for some reason, the trippy spin has become like the pillar of like, oh, you're a shitty pilot if you don't do trippy spins all over the place. And it's just like, no, like it's one thing. And all it is cross-coordinating sticks. It's a fucking orbit, but in reverse. It's not difficult. If you sit in the simulator for 10 minutes, you'll figure it out, and then you can make people throw up. It's just so many people consider the trippy spin to be like the fucking peak thing. Like, oh my god, I saw this pilot and he did 4 trippy spins in a row. He must be God. Like, no. He's just cross-coordinating his sticks. So the fuck what? And so, there you go. There's yet another trippy spin rant. What's on the opposite end? I'm pretty boring, man. I like a lot of the really subtle stuff. I like slamming down on the deck and flying like 1.5 inches off the pavement with with like barely noticeable changes in elevation. I like when you put the sticks in one location and leave them there for like 10 seconds and you don't make a single correction for like 10 whole seconds. You just fly with the throttle and you just fly with like the flow of what's going on. That's the shit that I like. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what takes a pilot from being good to great. Not trippy spins. Anybody can learn trippy spins. That's not impressive at all, to me. Maybe I'm just obnoxious. I know I'm obnoxious, but maybe I'm just a cranky old man. But trippy spins are not impressive to me in any way, shape, or form. It's all the subtleties that are really impressive to me. Like like a pilot that I want to watch, they have all those subtleties, and like. And it's cool because it's something that a lot of really good cinematic pilots have. Like a lot of these really old school pilots that don't really make much freestyle content anymore, they're really good at this stuff. And like it's funny to see new people like bash on those pilots. Like, oh, they don't even do shit. And it's just like, yo, you know nothing. Like the fact that they're doing it is so much harder to do less than to do more. One of the ways I can tell very quickly if a pilot is a month in, a year in, 2 years in, 4 years in, 8 years in, is actually how little they do. The longer you fly, the less you do. And what's really funny is that motorsport is the exact same way. When people get into motorsport, they do a lot. They're doing a lot of turning on the steering wheel. They're on and off the throttle. They're on and off the brakes. They're all over the goddamn place. And as an instructor, it's like, yo, stop. Stop doing so much. All you're doing is upsetting the car. And like, sure, it might look cool and your fucking feet are moving all around and the car is jerking all over the place, and it's a great way to get the car to start to rotate. And you can do drift things because you're cool and you're 16. But, like, it's the worst thing you can possibly do if you want to actually go fast and or learn how to properly drive. It's hysterical that translates to FPV. And so, yeah, when you see, like, these super seasoned pilots that are just, like, holding a long line, like, they're doing more than like, any of these new guys have any idea what's going on. Like, that is art. Art is. I'll show you what art is not. This is not art, my friends. Look at me! That's not fucking art. No art was ever made that way, ever. If somebody doesn't clip that and put that onto the Best of CiottiFPV Discord, I'm going to be very disappointed. So there you go, Danzilla. Great question, actually. It's hard for me to answer that question. It's not moves. There's not like, because look. Here's every single move in all of FPV. Here's what every single move in FPV consists of: throttle, yaw, roll, pitch. That's it. That's all of it. And so think about it this way, right? Here's one set of moves. And now here's going to be another set of moves, right? Yaw and pitch. Here's another set of moves. Yaw and roll. Here's another move. Throttle and pitch. Every single move in FPV is done using these 4 axes. There aren't that many combinations of those 4 axes. And like when you've been in this for a long time, like really focusing on flying and freestyle and whatever, like pretty quickly you realize like, oh, we've kind of figured it all out, right? The trippy spin seems like a new trick, but it really isn't. It's a tail in orbit. It's just an orbit, but backwards. And really all it is flying backwards. We've been doing that forever. So like, there's no move that really impresses me. It's all the subtlety that impresses me. It's the lack of corrections is the main thing that impresses me. When you're constantly bouncing back and forth, it's so easy to fly that way because you're constantly giving yourself a chance to make a correction to avoid the thing that's coming up. When you get really good, you don't have to do that. You can hold it and just keep the sticks exactly where they are. And what's cool is you can use the throttle and it doesn't show up as like a correction. And so that's the most impressive thing to me and most folks that have been around forever. Witch Cat says, in Joshua's stream, did it look like I haven't... What? Did it look like I haven't asked the question before? What question? What? Yeah, what question? Which chat? Tag me again. Tell me what question. Cloudhopper says, this is so cool. Thanks for being honest and objective. You're certainly welcome, brother. Thanks for sending it over. It really did help with this test so much, and it probably helped you. It probably helps you as well, because I know that you're custom winding these motors, and in my genuine opinion, 33,000 is worth. I mean, since you're hand winding them, if you can wind to like 34,000, that might be a little bit better. But I think 36 is a little bit over, just a little bit too much. What I would actually be really curious with these motors is what they would be like on a 65 millimeter rig, because I had that meatball 65 mil rig with the 33,000 kV 802s, and it railed, if you guys remember. So these 802 36,000s would be even better on the smaller propellers. So yeah, if it doesn't offend you too much, I might pull these I might pull these motors off and throw them onto a 65 for like a mega, yeah, a fat little 65. I'll just call it the meatball again. Tiny Shark FPV says, quick thoughts on the Pavo Pico. I know it's been out for a while, but thinking I could get the weight down, especially with the new 2S300. Oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah. They never sent me one, so and I try not to talk a lot about rigs that I haven't personally flown, but it certainly seemed like it flew okay. The main complaint that I heard was it's just kind of fragile, which is a little scary because the O3 system is awful expensive. But yeah, it seems like it flew really well, and getting the weight lower and lower and lower on a rig like that is going to help quite a bit. It's going to help it crash better, longer runtime, all that good stuff. So yeah, there you go. Curtis Hayes says, no super chat, but I just found out how to download older versions of the EOS software, posted and tagged it on Discord. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. That is better than a super chat. Tiny Shark FPV says, thinking of building a Pavo Pico with slightly higher KV 1102 18,000s versus the stock 14,000s, then planning to use 2S300. Yeah, that's a great idea. Going up in the KV like that, 2S 18,000. You'll Pavo Pico is 2-inch prop. I'll recommend that you motor limit it initially. Motor limit it down to like at least 90%, maybe 80%, and go out and just do a bunch of full throttle blasts and make sure it's not sagging the battery down to Chinatown. And then you can bump the motor limiting up a little bit. You can do it right in the menu, right? Just pitch forward, yaw left, and it'll bring up your OSD, and then you can adjust the motor limiting. It's in MISC PP. Denzel the Trouble says, good to hear you say that. I love ripping all the way down the street, an inch off the yellow line down the middle, fast, low, and smooth. Hell yeah, man. That's the way to do it. Islander FPV says, overdriving and overflying isn't a goal. Being one with the machine and flowing with it as naturally as possible is. Hell yeah, man. It's what the birds do. You don't see birds up there like, ah! Whee! You know, birds are just like, although there are those fucking pigeons that do that barrel roll thing, but that's not like, that's not this nonsense. Curtis Hayes says, so CiottiFPV, you don't prefer to watch stick bang. No, stick bang is the cancer of FPV as far as I'm concerned. Metal Durston says, in other words, we need more Dave Gilmore and less. I can't pronounce that, but yes, for sure. Cloudhopper says, feel free to put them on a 65. Awesome. I'll let you know how it is. I mean, I'll probably fly it on the stream, I'm sure. There we go. I'm caught up on chat. Is it 12 o'clock yet? 11:30. What are we going to do? Hey, we're flying. I got some batteries. We're going to fly these things in the house. I turned things on. Look at me. That's right. I feel like the beginning of the stream just fucking took my brain and just etch-a-sketched it. all the things that I had planned and all the happy thoughts in my head just went all to hell. All right, so we're going to fly all 3 of these. Actually, I want to do something. Roller pigeons, that's it. Yeah. I want to do something. I want to take a look at what RPM these will turn loaded. All right, we've talked about this in the past, but we actually haven't talked about it recently. Thrust stands are great. The data that comes out of them is awesome, but it is not the whole story, because when you fly your quads, you probably don't hold it in your hand or have your friend hold it in their hand, and then you grab the transmitter and you go, all right, brother, don't let go of it. Ready? Okay, great. For 3 minutes. You don't have your friend hold on to the damn thing for the whole 3 minutes that you fly it. You let go of it. And when you let go of it and you hit the throttle, it starts moving through the air. And when it moves through the air, there's incoming air. And that makes the motor's jobs easier. And so you really have to take thrust stand data with a grain of salt, because that is considered a loaded, I mean, it's literally called a loaded thrust stand. Technically, you could build a wind tunnel and blow some incoming air into it. You would have to figure out the speed differential to mimic real life flight. God only knows how you would do that. I've never seen anybody do it in the FPV world. But yeah, so the loaded RPM is always going to be significantly different than the unloaded RPM once this thing is rocketing through the sky, right? You sit full throttle for a full second, even a tiny whoop is going to get going 30, 40 miles an hour. That's 30 or 40 miles an hour of incoming air. That's going to let these things spin way the hell higher. And so here comes a perfect example of that, because we saw, what did we see? 43, I think we saw 43,000 kV RPM on this guy. Watch this. I'm going to use the same battery. I'm just going to put it back on the charger after every single time. That way we take as much variability out of it. I hope it'll be able to charge this up to full Mugungu quick enough. So, okay. I want to go here, and of course, the video receiver has shit the bed again and needs to be unplugged and replugged. Yet another thing that for absolutely no reason has stopped working. For over a year, this thing was totally fine when I left it plugged in. And now all of a sudden, in the last month, every single stream it feels like I have to unplug it and replug it. Even better yet. Even better yet. I'm not going to use batteries. That's stupid. Frank Nicholas, a long time ago, was kind enough to send me one of these awesome little Toolkit RC P200 adjustable power supplies. And then recently, it used to have this weird problem where it would trip when a flight controller came on. Recently, because I'm a goddamn genius, I realized that if I just jankily soldered a capacitor and a spike absorber in line, it fixed that problem. So this thing is super cool because I can dial a specific voltage in. I'm going to do 4.2. And it'll just output the shit out of that voltage. And it makes doing these loaded thrust stand tests oh so much easier. We cannot compare this, though, to... We cannot compare this to what we were seeing in flight because the batteries sag. This is not going to sag. This is going to sit at... You know what? I'm going to do 4 volts. I want to simulate a little bit of sag. So I'm going to do 4 volts of output from this thing. And then we're going to... you guys will get to see the loaded RPM. And we can take a look at what the differential is between each one of these rigs. So this first one is the 0803. By the way, this is going to benefit these bigger stator motors more than the 802s, for the record. This is the 802.8 27,000 kV rig. Ready? I'm just going to blast full throttle for like a split second. This is going to be sketchy as shit. Why is that one motor not spinning? Come on now. Are you out of your fucking mind? Oh my god. What was that? Oh boy. What? Okay. That was weird. Oh my god. Why is it doing that? What? I mean, I guess I've never really done this before. Huh. As soon as I go full throttle, it trips. I wonder if the, okay, let's just do one motor. I wonder what... I'm gonna blow something up. That's okay, though. For science. Oh, it's spinning the motor backwards. Damn it. I can do this in Betaflight. I think I'm gonna have to do this in Betaflight. Pretty sure I'm gonna have to do this in Betaflight. I wanted to show you guys on the screen the RPM, but I think it might be pulling too hard on the power supply. LiPos output a shit ton of a shitload of amps. LiPos are incredibly impressive. If you didn't already know. I think I can crank up one motor. I know that it'll crank one motor. So that's what we're going to do. Eventually. The newer versions of Betaflight's configurator take eons to open for some reason. Curtis Hayes says Radio Master has the Nomad in stock on their website. Just ordered one. Dude, thank you. Awesome. I will follow suit. Here's Betaflight. I was gonna say, why is this not... Oh my god! You remember that I have that one X12 that I was plugging it in and it wasn't working? Get this. If the computer sits for like a half an hour, I can plug it in and it connects totally fine. If I unplug it and plug it back in, it won't work. I gotta wait like an hour or two, and then it'll connect to Betaflight again. Is that not the strangest thing you've ever heard? This is not the one. I don't know why this is not working right now. Oh, there it goes. That was weird. We're gonna crank up motor 3. All right, so you're gonna have to look real careful here at the RPM. I'll tell you what it is, but ready? 50,000, basically. 50,000. All right. Unplug this guy. Watch this. All right, so that's 50,000 from the 0802.8 27,000s. I'm going to go all the way up to the 802 36,000s because we've already done this before. And I just want to test it real quick. 50,000 is also well below the maximum limit, which is like 85, I think. So we're still reading out good numbers. All right, ready? Motor 3 again. What was that about? Ready? Oh, that's interesting. 49,000. 49,500. And I can hear it getting hot. I can hear it fire up and then get hot. I'm actually surprised that these 36,000s cranked up that high. Huh. I thought they were going to be quite a bit lower than that. Just for the sake of argument, we're going to go down the bottom of the scale here with the 30,000 kV motors. No, we're not, because this is on a 2G4, which only has 5 amp FETs. Instead, we're going to do the 33,000s and see what they crank. This test doesn't mean much because, again, this is a loaded thrust stand test. We don't fly these things like this, but it's just a fun thing to kind of do that we've done in the past. It's an interesting sort of data point. Oh, nope, never mind. Computer has not been... I have not plugged this thing in for long enough, and it won't connect to Betaflight. It won't show up. So, yeah. Sorry. This X12 is just weird. I don't get it. In a couple hours from now, I'll plug it in. It'll be totally fine. Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is probably better than mine. Cloudhopper with a $5 super chat. He says, you're absolutely right. I learned things tonight, too. Awesome, dude. Thank you. Oh, it's rolling pigeons are having seizures when they fall out of the sky. That's sad. Cool. Let's fly a couple of these. We're going to go from lowest kV to highest kV. So that means that we're going to start with the 0802 2.8s. This ought to be interesting. These rigs are hard to fly in the house, but I am somewhat tuned into them, so maybe this won't be a nightmare. All right, fellas, let's get our 6 batteries in for the day. Have you flown your 6? No? Do it. Do it now. Oh, these motors are whooped. Oh, God. Oh, God. Told you these are hard to fly inside the house. Let me just recalibrate real quick here. Hey! Holy shit. Okay. Oh no, don't, no core temperature shit. Come on now. I moved the tower of gates to the corner here. It used to be centered on the door. Oh, this rig is also doing this very weird thing where it kind of goes unresponsive. It's so strange. It's almost like a failsafe, but it's not. It was doing this outside. It was very weird. I can usually troubleshoot these fuckers like damn near instantly. Hey, buddy boy. But there it is. I'm at 100% throttle. Nothing's happening. What the hell was it? And now it's fine. All right, so let's check. Let's check and see if I slipped a motor shaft. Hold on. You do that by holding the bell of the motor and then try. Whoa! Wow. Okay. Yeah, that ain't great. I don't think that's what it is, but that's not a great sign. That one's fun. Oh, they're all kind of slipping a little bit. That might not be the motor shaft. It might be the propeller. This one's the best, but it's not. I don't know. It's really, really weird. It's really, really weird what this thing is doing. What are you up to, little guy? These motors have... I'm full throttle. Nothing's happening. What are you doing, little buddy? These motors make sort of like the perfect amount of power. The run times are a little bit low. But this is like my dream amount of power and response time, these motors, for a 75. It's snappy, it's poppy. I mean, it's still not like the 65s, but it's the best. Oh boy, it's the best that I've been able to put together. But as you can see, the 1mm motor shafts are just completely whooped after not that many batteries. And so, yeah, I don't know. Either the ESC or a motor is going. I think I was able to just figure out which motor it was, so I'm going to. I'm one step closer to troubleshooting this. It is very weird though what it's doing. Okay, now we're gonna go. So that was 27,000 kV. Electric Boogaloo. Now we're gonna bump up to 30,000. That's this guy right here. All right, 30,000 kV coming at you. Hopefully, you guys might have seen the RPM. I forgot to check it when I disarmed once or twice. Back up, little boy. Here we go. My God, this feels. Oh boy, this feels so different. 802 is so much less stator volume than 802.8. Oh, this battery is also shitting the bed right now. All right, never mind. I was gonna say this is a bit much. This battery is falling on its face. This battery needs to be thrown away. I'm okay with it. Kill the battery all you want. Go ahead. Kill it. Kill that battery. Yeah! I did that by pushing a bunch of yaw in. Oh, that battery'd be done now. If it wasn't done before, it's done now. All right, so this battery is just shot. That's yeah. No fault of the quad. Okay, that was the 30,000. Whatever. We're gonna go up to the 33,000 rig, and then we're gonna go 36. This is good. Some of these batteries do need to go. I'm totally fine with this. Electric Boogaloo, dog snout. Sniff it good enough, Teddy? Hey! This is more like it. These are the 33,000s! And as you can see, they rip pretty good. I'm being a little bit... I mean, well, this rig is lighter. Wow. This is a lighter rig, and I think that's one of the things that I'm seeing here. Yikes. Woo! I was close to the couch on that one. Oh! Oh, it went through. Whoa, hey. Oh, God. I couldn't get the elevation under control. I was trying to get it down off the ceiling, but I just couldn't quite get it. Hell yeah. Whoa, boy. I went into that with a little too much chutzpah. Hey. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, Teddy! Oh, buddy. Alright, let's give this a second to cool off. These core temperature warnings are oh! I didn't mean to go behind the TV, but alas, here we are. Stop! Whoa, God, Teddy! Didn't know you were there. Stop it! Oh, there's a lot of up tilt. There's not much duct in view, so there's a lot of up tilt, which is making flying this a little bit harder. Oh! I almost bailed on that, but I thought, nah, we good. Oh, I blew stuff all over the goddamn ground. So, these are motors that you can make. You're gonna spend $80 because you gotta get the, you gotta get bells. You gotta buy motors with, you gotta buy 802s with bells that have 1.5mm motor shafts. And you're gonna take those bells off, and then you're gonna buy the, Imoptura, or whatever the hell they're called, 802 33,000s that have 1mm bells, and you're gonna combine them. But boy, does this fly good. Did anybody happen to catch the max RPM early on in the battery? I would love to compare it. We're in the house, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Because we don't have time to let it sit at full throttle and just eat. But, yeah. If anybody happened to catch it, definitely leave it in the chat, please. Buddy, what are you doing? Don't go into build bags. What is the matter with you? You don't build quads. I would die if you did. It would be the greatest day of my life. All right, Cloudhopper's build. Here we go. Caddix Ant inside the house. Teddy needs to give it the check of approval. Giving it a little sniff. All right, Teddy approves. Teddy has approved. Oh, he gave us a snarl on that one. Wow, the Caddix Ant looks way different. Also remember this rig is... Oh, wait, no. It's the same weight as the one we were just flying. I don't feel much of a difference, if I'm completely honest, which makes sense. Eh! So there we go, 44,000 RPM. I'm actually surprised that it was able to crank up that high inside the house. This battery is apparently fresher than the batteries I was flying outside because they only got to 43,000 RPM. Woo! Oh God! Why would I just keep flying toward? Yes, Teddy, it's back there. I know. Buddy, back up! What are you doing? Back up! Hey! Don't eat them. We are not a family of electronics eaters. We give you plenty of food. Be a good boy. Where you at, little dog? Not so tough once it's flying, are you? Not so tough! Just found out. Ah, I chickened out. I was gonna let it drop down into the cube, and then I was like, nah, it's not lined up. Yeah, see, like that. Ah! Ah! The sound of thumbsticks centering themselves is just the most old school thing ever. That. Brrr. Stop it. Stop that. Leave me alone. Thank you. Ah! Ah! Hey. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Ah! The newbie drone gates are brutal. Oh, I completely missed it. I didn't even give it enough throw. Oh, stop. Wow. I don't think I've ever tried the newbie drone gates with a 75. It's so much harder, but it's still doable, apparently. Stop. Oh, no, no, no. Don't you dare. Don't you get stuck under there. Teddy, help me. You know, it's super interesting. There he is. The 65s, I can get them out of here because they have like this razor sharp reaction when I roll them. The 75s have have worse response time, and because of that, I can't get it out of there. That's funny. Like when it gets caught under the side of the couch like that, you need to make it go like and like when it here's the side of the couch. It gets under here. You need to make it go so it'll slide out like that. But the 75s just go like they don't hit hard enough. The 65s go nice and hard, and that scooches it out. It's about the scooch, friends. 65s have better scooch game. Ooh. A vicious dog has entered the Chad. Let this thing cool down a little bit. Good runtime inside the house. The runtime is a perfect example of how high KV motors and shitty runtimes are can be mutually exclusive. If you're constantly at full throttle, what are you doing? Where are you flying that you can be at full throttle all the time, where the top end of the KV really matters that much? I fly at like 30% throttle for almost the entire battery, and every once in a while I go to 100%. That's just me. Nobody has said anything in the live chat. Is this still up? What's happening? Are you guys all asleep? Everybody went to sleep. Cloudhopper, beautiful rig. I'm very hesitant to take these motors off because this is just an awesome build. But I'm super curious about 65s. There's yeah, you guys are still here. Okay, cool. Hey, Metal Dirtskin's plugging in batteries to charge. That's the right answer, my friends. Fly your goddamn 6 batteries. Have 6 batteries of fun today. That concludes the 75mm portion of our live stream tonight. Does this fly? Let's see. This is the 36,000 kV Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop. This is where things get really interesting. Oh god, look at that OSD. It's different. Whoa! Oh my god! There's either a prop on wrong or a motor that's spinning the wrong direction. That would be a motor that's spinning the wrong direction. There's my answer. Does it fly? Nope. It does not. That's why I put it here, to remind myself to get the motor spinning the right direction. Here's a little drift car chasing rig. Let's fly this around smoothly like I was trying to do last night. Let's see if I have a single RC drift car chasing rig that works, because apparently all the other ones have shit the bed. For I don't know what reason. They've just been sitting in the box, and now they're not working. I don't get it. Back up, bad dog. Back up! Well, this one's not bound, so that ain't gonna work. Oh, wait, no, it's blown up or something. Wow, all the RC drift car chasing rigs have died. I don't get it. Is this battery dead? Nope, battery's fine. Every single one of the RC drift car chasing rigs have died. What the fuck? What is happening? Wait, now it's okay. Oh, but then it just dies. Oh, no. Okay. No. That's right. I put black paint over the LEDs. Have you guys ever had an LED go really dim? When a flight controller dies, sometimes like the LEDs on it will only light up like super dim. I painted over the LEDs on this AIO so that it's less obnoxious when I'm out there chasing them little RC drift cars. It's not working because it's not bound. There we go. That'll be better. Oh, I just realized this is the one with the crazy wide angle tiny whoop pinch cam on it. This is going to be hard to fly. This will be, this will have crazy sense of speed though. Let's see. Alright. Should be good. Hey. Yeah. You can see the corners of the lens. Back up, little boy. Oh, wow. Is this hard to fly? Whoa! So this is 0 up tilt, which is weird enough as it is. But then it's this crazy wide angle. Whoa, okay. Yeah. Okay, we are just going to cruise around and attempt to adjust. Oh god. Okay. It's so warped. Everything is so warped. Yo. Like my judgment of distances is just fucked. Oh my god, this is so wild. Woo! Haircut time! Do I dare? I dare. I dare. I do dare. I dare. Oh yeah. Woo! Whoa! Wow, this is wild! I've flown like 1 battery on this, and I was just like, I don't know about this. Oh god. Oh wow. No up tilt is plenty weird. And then you add this crazy wide angle to it, and it becomes infinitely more odd. Strangely fun, though. See if I shoot the monitor gap. Oh, no! Oh, no! No! Okay. We made it happen! Oh, rejection. Let's try it again. I feel like I can fly through any gap on Earth, but it's the same size tiny whoop, so I can only really fly through the same gaps that I normally fly through. Teddy, where are you? I don't want to hit you in the face. Ooh, that's disorienting. Oh god. Oh man, right into the into the light we go. Whoa, doggy. Woo, boy. Oh my god. Oh, I got away with murder on that one. Oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. All skill right there. Definitely not completely luck. What would this be like to freestyle? I think right now it has down tilt. Yeah, I'm just going backwards. The combination of 0 up tilt with the wide angle, like either one of those things on their own is kind of okay, but those two things together is outrageous. This also has the all of these RC drift car chasing rigs have the throttle expo set perfectly for like cruising the speed that those little RC drift cars go, which is roughly like this that I'm going right now. So like when I go slow with this, the The throttle resolution sucks a bag of dicks. Really? Oh! Oh! Oh, a bad dog has appeared. Oh, this battery is fucked. 4 minutes and 24 seconds. That's too long. Wow, that is outrageous. I'm probably gonna swap this camera out because that's funny, but I can't do that, dude. Like, I'm super tempted to chase the drift cars with that setup, but the problem is gonna be they are hard to chase, and that is hard to fly, and those two things together are gonna suck. So I think I'm actually gonna pull the camera out of this. That camera is funny, but I don't see it. I don't see myself being able to actually chase those guys with. I'm gonna leave it together. Fuck it. It's fine. That'll get me off my ass to fix these other two. I don't know what the hell's going on with these other two, but these have normal cameras on them and they're somewhat realistic to fly. That battery's done. It's 12:15, friends. Thanks for bearing with me through all of the technical shit at the beginning of this live stream. Hopefully Wednesday will be better, but every single day that I sit down at this computer, just random stuff happens, so I can't make any promises, but I'll try my best, as I always do. Thanks for hanging, friends. CiottiFPV.com is how you support me. Patreon does continue to kind of take a little bit of a dive, so if you've watched this long, do me a favor, hop onto Patreon. If you're on the $3 tier, go to the $5 tier. It'll enter you to win Tiny Whoop and Toothpick giveaways, and if you win one of those giveaways, you're going to get like $60, $70, $80, $90 worth of stuff. That's like getting free Patreon for a year plus. Get it on some giveaways, my friends. Motherton says, ask Bot. He flies literally no up tilt, I think. Yeah, no up tilt I can deal with. But boy, that crazy fisheye is nutso. Thanks for hanging, friends. Here's some more. I don't know what this is going to be. This is me flying something. It's one of the 75mm rigs outside. Hold on. No, it's going to be Cloudhopper's rig. It has to be Cloudhopper's rig. That should be this one. Nope, that's not this one. Should be this one. That's this one. 36,000 kV 802s. What a time to be alive.